Kingdom people, they hate that you are influential. See, you have something very important to share, to say. You have some understanding, knowledge, wisdom, and people value what you have to say. People value your insight, your take on things. They appreciate your presence. They know that you are a person who hears from God even. And so, you know, them over there that stalk you, watch you, hating on you, trying to get your attention, that even kingdom people try to put you under their thumb and raise themselves above you to give themselves the idea or perception that they're above you and you're below them. But what has happened, kingdom people? Listen. These people realize, listen, you are very valuable. You have very keen insight. And you actually are able to influence people in a positive way. And here's the thing about that. You're not walking around talking dumb and talking about shallow, low-level kind of things. No. You're talking about things that matter. You talk about uplifting things that can actually help move people forward. Things that really make you think and consider certain different concepts or certain different events or just whatever the subject matter may be about. I was recently talking to someone and I was sharing with them how I like to listen to different people, different commentary, even if it's about the same thing, because people are smart. And I often hear people say things that I never considered. So they enlighten me, thus making me smarter, giving me insight into something that I hadn't even considered. Furthermore, I like to listen to different people's perspective, and sometimes it may differ. However, it helps me to see how different people think. And many times I can understand differing opinions. I can understand what this party means, where they're coming from, and I can understand the opposing perspective. I get where both are coming from. And it's not necessarily a matter of right or wrong. I just get it, and it helps me to understand how people think. It also helps me to know how to deal with different kind of people because of the differences in mindset and thinking. Now, I'm saying all this to say, when you do that, when you are able to hear from others and learn from them and just hear them out, it heightens your understanding. It strengthens your knowledge. And in doing all that, because when you compile all these things, you pretty much are able to communicate and articulate, your own thoughts and opinion from things that you have grabbed from others. Not mimicking, but you learned it. And so again, it gives you insight into different perceptions, into different ways of thinking. And depending on what it is that you're dealing with, you address it in a certain manner based on your own insight at that point. And that's what you do, kingdom people. Even if you're not necessarily sharing insight with people, people appreciate you. People like to engage with you. People you're pleasant to people, and people are pleasant with you. Now, these people over here, you don't mess with them like that, because they're not pleasant people. They have shown themselves to be an enemy to you. And again, they were trying to, I guess, cultivate this situation with you, where they were trying to put you under them and put themselves above you. In essence, they were trying to control and dominate you and treat you as if you was like, I want to say a nobody, but kingdom people, nobody is really a nobody. Nobody is really a nobody, or nobody don't have to be a nobody. I say it that way. But they were trying to treat you like a nobody, and you're actually very much so somebody. Just because you're meek, you chill, you mind your business, don't mean you're a nobody. See, people get it twisted when they think if you're not out here rah-rah making all this noise and out here running your mouth all up in people's business, telling all your business. People just get these kind of people, these low thinking people, they think that if you're not doing that you're a nobody. Because in order for you to be a somebody to them, you got to be showing that. But you don't have to show nothing. You be what you are. You don't have nothing to prove or nothing to show. And it's showing. It's now showing. They now see that, and they realize how influential you are. Again, when you just interact with people, you have good, rapport with people and good interactions with people. Is very pleasant. And when they're standing on the sidelines in or ear hustling, they see that, and they see how people take to you. They see even how sometimes people like to hear your take on things. They see how people value you. They see how pleasant you are with others, just not with them. And it don't mean that you're not pleasant with them. You don't really have no dealings with them, and that's pleasant in and of itself. Again, they tried to lowball you, make it look like you was some kind of nobody, some kind of love. And they realized that you were way more influential than they realized. And the thing is, they don't know you like that. And even people that do know you and did know you, they didn't understand or know that part of you. Even in some cases, it was there and shown. People tend to minimize. They tend to minimize you or minimize what it is when they're familiar with you. They don't take you seriously. And so that's the thing. Others do. Others value you. They respect your disposition. They respect your intelligence. They appreciate you. They value you. And the people who were either familiar with you or really don't know you like that and just tried to size you up and, do they 1-2 on you, they messed around and they found out. And, it's kind of embarrassing for them. And they overall just hate the fact that you're influential, because here's the thing. They were trying to influence you. And they were trying to influence you in a negative way. They were trying to influence you from the gutter. Trying to have you acting in gutter ways when it's nothing gutter about you. And even when they realized that you wasn't on that gutter stuff, they initially felt like, oh, you're weak because you're not getting with them in the gutter. And as time went on, they found out, oh, no, this is not that. You're very smart. You're very influential. You're not on small-minded, boo-boo type of mess. You own real things that really matter. You don't have time to be over here playing games in the gutter and rolling around with pigs. It's a saying that goes something like, I can't even think of it, but how small-minded people talk about people, and big-minded people talk about things, goals, events, something like that. I forget. But these are the kind of people that sit around gossiping, sassing other people up, trying to see how they finna trick people out of whatever they can get out of them. I mean, they're pretty much just toxic. And, I'm actually hearing con artists. I'm hearing vultures. That's what they are. And they thought that they was getting ready to vulture you. Con you. Because, again, they thought you was just some little nobody. And they found out you a big old somebody. To somebody, to some people, to many people. They found out. And so, and even if it's a few people, they found out that there are people that take you seriously. People not sitting around looking at you like they tried to. But again, they found out too. They just misjudge. That's what these kind of people do. Because they only have, one-track minds. They not aware. They lack self-awareness. They lack the truth of what's really going on in reality. They're stuck in these boxes, which is why they try to put you in boxes, because they in a box and all they know is their box. So they try to place you in a box so that you can be compartmentalized for their own comfort. But you not that. And that's what they found out. They couldn't stick you in that box. Every time they try to stick you in that box, I can't even say you bust out of that box. You wouldn't even get in. You would. It's kind of like they trying to put you in a box and you ain't even have to fight to get out. They literally couldn't move you to get you in that box. Like, quite literally, they don't move you. You're unfazed by them. So every time they try to do whatever they were trying to do with you, to do what they were trying to do with you, they fail because you're not that. And they found out. And now that they see how influential you are, now that they see how your words, your presence, your whatever you do and offer others, whatever relationships you have, now that they see people value you and you're influential in that way where you bring value that makes a difference in people's lives, now that they see that, they hate it. They hate how influential you are. And you know why they hate it? Because they not in a positive way. All they do is try to influence people to go basically to hell. In the gutter with them. Toxic. Full of nonsense. Full of poison. Gossiping. Want to be on trying to get over on people. Want to just be out here living a life full of, I'm hearing sin, but I want to say hell. Just hellish. That's the influence that they provide. And whoever, I guess, allow themselves to be influenced by them, it really don't get them anywhere in life in a positive way. It doesn't move them forward. It takes them to hell, which is what it's designed to do. When I say hell, I mean right here on earth, just being hellish, just living a hellish life, if you will. And so they see that you're the opposite of that. You influential in a positive way. You bring real value. Again, you're not on all that nonsense. And initially, they looked at that as being weak. They looked at that as you like you scary or something. But they found out, no, you are a boss. You're mature. You're grown up. You don't have time for childish things. You're on real things, big things that really matter, godly things, kingdom things, business. They realized that, while they was trying to put you under them, they messed around and found out. I almost don't even want to say that. Not that you trying to put them under you, but that's how they feel. Because they on mess. And you want some real stuff. And they hate that you're influential like that. And the thing is, kind of people, they don't know how to influence people in a positive way because they're not that. You have to be positive to influence people in a positive way. If that ain't in you, I always say you can't give somebody what you don't have. It makes me think of how, oftentimes we learn that certain people didn't love us, or the way they loved us, it just wasn't the way to do it. Well, people can only give you what they have. When people don't have a proper love for themselves, they can't properly love you. The way they love you reflects how they love themselves, like quite literally. The way they love you reflects the love of God they receive. And when people are not receiving that love from God, they're not going to properly love themselves. Therefore, they can't properly love others. Love becomes very conditional, if at all. So, they can't give something they ain't got. They don't have positivity. They can't influence people in a positive way because they not that. They got a lot of work to do if they're going to ever do that. I mean, they could if they put in the work. But kingdom people, they hate that you are so influential because they had gotten it all wrong. They didn't realize at first that this is what it was with you. And even as I said, even people that they didn't realize it either. They may have seen little bits and pieces of it, but they didn't realize how deep it went. And it wasn't necessarily for them to know how deep it went, because, it just wasn't for them to see. Sometimes God will keep you hidden until it's time for you to be, for it to show, for it to go forth. But also, some of these people was on one with you. So even though they seen little bits and pieces of it, they got to tripping out. And when little bits and pieces of it started to come out more and more, they start really tripping out. And so to be surprised that this is what it is, well, it was always there. It just had to grow and develop. And these people in particular, that's what they didn't want it to do. Which is why now they hate that you're so influential. Because you still became what God called you to be. You're still becoming what God is calling you to be. And no matter how much they didn't want you to, or how much it bothered them, even with the little bitty they seen, you still going forth. And again, these are the kind of people that, I'm going to put it like this, they're not truly doing what God has called them to do. They're not doing it. And that's why these kind of people be so bothered when you doing what God called you to do. Who hates somebody because they so influential? It goes back to even when they be tripping on you because they trip on all the good things. I just seen this morning, I read something this morning that spoke of how, woe to them who speak of good as if it's evil and of evil as if it's good. People be tripping on your good like it, really be tripping on that. Like, who does that? That's a sicko. That's something ain't right. And so, who hates someone because they're influential? Well, someone who didn't want you to be that. Someone who didn't see that coming, or maybe they did see it coming, but because they're not doing the work they need to be doing for themselves, for their own lives, which is ultimately being led by God, living for Christ. When they're not doing that, they hate the results of you doing that. Yeah, they hate it. Because it's the exact opposite of what they doing that they probably should be doing, or what they could grow to. So yeah, kind of people, these people had it all wrong. They was trying to act like you was some kind of dum-dum and messed around and found out how influential you are. And they hate how influential you are.